Okay, here we go again. Same opening. This is going to be a slightly different approach to the idea with some more detail about the course outline. We want to set up our head, heart, gut idea. Going through this whole schmear. Here's where it's different, and like we do in the past. Psychology says that we're identified by our thoughts, by our feelings, and by our behaviors. But we know that there's more to the story, so our spirituality side said that there's a head quality that is not about our thoughts, there is a heart quality that is not about our feelings, and that a fully felt physical presence in the now is a part of a different sort of alignment. Enneagram language includes both, changes these categories by name a little bit. So in the head center, our thoughts become known as a worldview, and that way of knowing is actually represented by what's called a holy idea. Our heart qualities, similarly, our feeling center can actually be identified thematically as what's called a passion, and the open-hearted qualities become a virtue. Gut-centered ideas, we're going to call these behaviors, essentially subtypes, and our felt present sense of the now on the physical side is actually not named in the model, and we'll move past that for now. Our two columns can be nicknamed or titled active consciousness and receptive consciousness. As our study moves forward, we'll understand more about these. And we arrange the charts to be a little more elegant to arrange our themes to be visible by putting our two columns next to each other, and further, by stretching things out in order to demonstrate some of our dynamics. And you'll see that those gut behaviors called subtypes actually split into three. There's three of those. So we have a total of 7 named categories, 3 subtypes, a worldview, a passion, a virtue, and a holy idea, which forms the basis of and organizes a lot of the Enneagram's insights into our internal dynamics. Those dynamics have all sorts of flavors. There's within the head center between the worldview and the holy idea, within the heart center between the passion and the virtue, within the gut center on a different level. All those things can be considered separately. There's a flow of energy described by the model within receptive consciousness and within active consciousness as well. And there are ways to intervene with ourselves using this model, and other forms of internal dynamics that can be very helpful in mapping the internal territory. So how do we use this, and how might our course look by starting on this side of the model? We're going to take each of the bubbles, like we said in the other introduction, and consider self-preservation in its own class. This class should take about 30 minutes in this online version. It's going to take the form of looking at all of the different types. All these different types will be jumbled up so that you're not distracted by those differences, because we're really going to be looking at self-pres types in little video clips. And what we're going to ask you to do is collect your responses as you go. So here are the 3 questions that will be asked after every video. My reaction to this behavior, in about a 15-second little clip here. From delight to disgust is the way we have it now. Type in a word for this type of person, your reaction to it, like silly or some sort of label. We're asking you to do that, and feel free to do that. It's just for fun, and it's just for your purposes. And finally, this person is either very like me, somewhat like me, sort of not like me, or very not like me. And we'll go on then to the next video, and these folks will be all jumbled together, and we'll have fun. Reaction, delight, the disgust, my word for what I'm seeing. This person is like me or not all like me, and hit submit. And so we'll go through all of our 9 types that way. And at the end of this class, we'll be able to look back at a review of 18 different people. Is that right? Yeah. 2 for each type. And we'll name and we'll learn a little bit more about what the self-pres idea is by organizing our example videos according to type. So type castle, 2 5s, warmth 6, 2 6s, delivering the one-liners for each of the types. And then we go to work. And for each of our little rows here, we'll perform that same process in about a half an hour each. This is too long, but I set it up and I can only go through it by doing all of it right now. In the actual, we would probably show the final review page for each of those. Once we've completed all of those, we are now ready to move into the next half of our course. And so because we have already built a notion of how everybody has all 3 and we understand what these categories are about, we'll be able to take a 1 and map all of these qualities onto our dynamic. So we know that the worldview of a 1 is resentment. The passion of a 1 is anger. And have something to say about that. In a conclusion of a section then of looking at 1s, which will take less time because we've set it up in part 1, we're also going to start to feed back the information we've collected during part 1. So here comes all of our type 1 responses that we collected during our horizontal journey over here. So reaction, these are the collected ideas. The 1-word descriptions are listed out for you. And does this person look like me or not like me? Lots of information there. If you want to go back for a review, by the way, and this is the wonder of the internet, is you can still look at any one of these videos in rerun if you'd like to double check yourself. At the end of this review, we're going to ask you to do, down here in the corner, a type 1 summary where, looking at all of these responses that have been recorded, you pick one that is sort of like, your final answer. Similarly, this person is very like me or not like me, your final answer now that you have lots of information about the single type. The words are a little trickier. What we're going to ask you to do is write in 3 other words here. That might change to be clicking on selecting words that you've already chosen. I haven't decided that. It was easier now just to put in 3 words of your choosing. And we're adding a thing for this summary, which is 2 people I know who may be a type 1, and put them in these fields here, and then click submit. And as before, we'll be doing this, and in the intro we'll be showing, reviewing it a little more completely. But we're going to get through all these types. I'm thinking this is probably going to take 10 to 15 minutes per type to get all through it. So we have another couple of hours here. All totaled, we are at about 5 hours right now. But you've been interacting and playing for a while. That's my hope. What's next? No, I can't remember. All right, so we've collected all this information for all the 9 types, right? And each participant has reviewed this as a sort of lesson for the type, and also created a summary through each of the 9 types. So to this point, participants have a grasp of head, heart, and gut as both internal and external, learned the 7 categories, experienced examples of the categories for all the 9 types, incredibly, provided responses to 378 questions and reviewed them, and provided a summary of their experience via another 6 responses. What do we provide them? And that's this thing. So what I'm talking about is it mainly being summary responses with some additional stuff on it. This stuff in here is the responses, the summary responses. So for a 1, I would have put in as my 3 word choices: strong, reliable, and harsh. my people that I know are my dad and Patsy. And my summary one-word reaction is aversion. Okay? Which is a little confusing right now, but that's okay. What's the point here? The asterisk means something. See how there's no asterisk in here? No asterisk means that my summary reaction and the sum total of all of my reactions to the whole thing are in basic agreement. This one, so mild attraction and attraction in green. Oh God, I'm really screwing this up. Let's go back to the example of this one. Aversion, asterisk. So what I'm saying or claiming in my summary is that I step away from ones, but what this outer thing is showing me in a color is that my accumulated responses are really more ambivalent or more middle. Asterisk means there's a disconnect somewhere in there that is interesting. In this particular case, look at Dad in there. Of course I'm conflicted about something like that. There's another level, and so you can see how that can be fun. When you're using the outer ring like this, you can also do a summation of what my general attitude towards a group of people are. So we could make a case that my attitude towards gut types is generally positive, a little aversion. My attitude toward head types over here is going to be sort of more ambivalent than positive. And my reactions to heart types is all over the map and really maybe kind of unpredictable, if you can see that. Then the last question about is it like me or not like me, there's three ways of gathering the information. A red like me would say that my summary and my accumulated responses agree. Accumulated responses are being calculated in the background. So they agree here, if it's just the black here in this dummy version of it, that the summary responses are standing alone, that this is who I think I am. And then a like me that is the accumulated responses only, that's sort of drifted into the background, can be represented over there. So we have three levels of input about one's relationship to type. So it's beyond it's just me. We've collected all sorts of information here, so it's garbled, but I'm trying to get this done before I go out of town. Bye. Oh gosh.